We're probably as professional a law enforcement agency as we've been in our history. We have a mayor and council who have supported the mission, are financing that mission and giving resources where necessary. It's not an accident that we all live in one of the safest communities in America.
Seeing that our police officers are willing to invest in our most precious resource, our children, and that they're willing to take time out of their busy schedules and to be a friend, to be a face. I positively feel they've impacted our school through our academic team, working with our scholars to let them know that education matters. So educating our children that, police officers are friends, they're also there to mentor, and again, like they can have future aspirations. They're heroes to our community, but they've opened my eyes to just the connections that they make with the community, that they're here to be here proactive rather than reactive. That's what they're doing.
Our mosque is very active in doing these kind of things, which include not only interfaith dialogue, but also to involve with the city officials. So we have been in contact with the mayor and then the police chief. And I found them very helpful. Actually, there are multiple occasions when we contacted them and they responded immediately. Very recently, there was a bomb threat in our mosque, and when I contacted the police chief, he responded right then and there, sent the squad there, and we feel safe when we have these kind of responses from our city officials, especially from the police department, especially in these environments which we are living in these days.
It's not easy being a police officer. I understand that. To wear that blue uniform takes a lot of pride and respect. We have not been a part of any type of the violent acts that have taken place in our country. And I really commend our police department and Mark himself. I commend him for kind of keeping our borders of Lexington kind of safe from that. So from our aspect in Lexington, we're doing a phenomenal job. And with the community, we view them, I've got a lot of feedback from the community, and we have a very good relationship with them. Again, it's a working relationship. It's not going to be perfect, but we're working toward making it that way.
What we did was changed it from coffee with a cop to coffee with the chief. And instead of doing it on a broad scale, we decided to scale it back and have like 10 to 13 people come out so that everybody would have the opportunity to talk with the chief. And that's how it got started. And out of having coffee with the chief, the chief has been able to get out into the LGBT community. He's been able to talk with the domestic violence programs. He's been able to have his officers become trained in how to deal with autistic children or adults that they may come in contact with. So it's just become a big event, and the chief has been excellent with working with us on this.
When Orlando happened to the LGBT community, it was as if someone had walked into this sanctuary, this safe place, and had committed this act. One of the great things that the police department did was to bring together the folks involved with the Pride Festival and the other organizations that represent the LGBT community in Lexington, and sit us down to say, what do you need from us? What can we do to make sure that folks in this community feel safe and know that the police department is here to make sure that you are safe?
For us, the meet and greet was really the key, so we didn't feel like it was appropriate to just come and talk to officers and say, this is what autism is, now go out and be an expert. We really wanted it to be a two-part thing, and so the meet and greet was our twist on training, where we have invited officers to come in and just have casual community exchanges with people with autism, so that the people with autism can get that practice the same time officers are getting the practice. Our families have talked about how their anxiety has gone down for interacting with officers, how when their kids see individuals that are law enforcement or first responders, they're more likely to speak to them now. And then we've gotten the same response from officers too, so that's been really great.
When Antonio was shot here in this park, believe it or not, my younger son saw it on Facebook. I do a lot of praying, so that was what I needed to do. However, there were times when I had thoughts that might not have been the right way, and that's when the police department came in. You had people like Officer Berry. When I decided I wanted to do a peace walk, We Care came in, and they said, we'll collaborate with you. And even though I didn't know what I was doing at that time, they were there for me. I'm determined that I'm going to build a partnership, and that's why I tell the kids, that's why I tell the children, there's not been anyone killed in Lexington by a police officer in 20 years. And it's okay to dream to be a police officer, and it's okay to communicate with a police officer. Because our young adults are being taught not to do that. And that's not fair. Because guess what? Each police officer is someone's child. And you got to show people respect. So,
you know, you do get a sense that, and it's not just the chief, it is from his office on down, that you can be very open and honest about what your concerns are. That if there is, you know, an issue about, you know, you feel about how the police department is reporting a same-sex crime, that you can reach out to, if not him, somebody in the police department, and they are better equipped to handle those kind of conversations.
There are a lot of things that tie us together in the business community, Commerce Lexington, and the police department. And we've been fortunate to have a chief who recognizes that what we do in law enforcement and keeping us safe is also very, very good business for our economy and the growth in Lexington.
And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for serving us. Thank you for doing your profession duties. And thank you for understanding the sensitivities of the different sects and the different areas of the community and addressing those.
Well, keep doing what you're doing. You're awesome. We respect you. We're praying for you and the safety thereof, but more importantly, you know, continue to do your job. We're there for you, and if they need advice from us anytime, that's what we're here for.
The openness, I think, has been the most exciting thing for us. So when officers are coming to these meet and greets, they're asking us questions, they're saying, well, what would I do here? Or I've done this before and it didn't go well, could I have done it differently? And that openness, flexibility, and willingness to ask our advice has been really honoring. So we're just really grateful.
A lot of members of the police department are almost like my family. And that's why I make it very clear that my house is a safe house. That I know that they're working out here in the East End, that they may get into danger. And I leave my house available to the police department. And I make sure that they know that if you're in trouble, I'm just around the corner. And I mean that.
We have a police department that is very in tune to the different communities around Lexington. And it shows in the way that, you know, if you ask me if I had a complaint about the police department, I don't think I could come up with one, and that shows, and that's from the relationship that the police department is really fostering with the community as a whole.